All right, gamers, it's time for the RGH podcast. It's gonna get litty titty in here. Let's jump in with my boys TV and KackisHD. You see, the only reason I do this podcast is so that I can hang out with these two cute boys. Like truly, we like gaming, but also I like, well, I just like your beards. Honestly, I wish I could grow one. Incredible.
I've seen it when you don't shave for a while on vacation. It's something. I mean, there's a couple of hairs that come in there. There's a couple of scraggles.
It looks a little bit homeless, just like a touch.
Homeless.
A little.
Yeah. Today we've got some awesome. Well, actually, we don't really have awesome topics. One of them really sucks, and that's going to be one of the big ones we talk about. First, we're going to talk about the Activision Blizzard stuff, but there are some little bits of gaming news. One of them, which I just found out about a few minutes ago, the Battlefield stuff. That sounds really cool to me. Really, really interested in that. And potentially, all of your gaming PCs will be taken away, kind of, by California.
If you're gaming too hard, the government's gonna come for you. They're literally
they're gonna send
the gamers.
They're gonna send the Nintendo ninjas to take your PCs away.
Bro,
Nintendo ninjas.
Yeah, if they don't come for you, Nintendo will come for you. If you have 0.1 seconds of audio background from playing some Smash Bros, Nintendo will come for you 100%.
Yep. Okay, so let's just jump in with the Blizzard stuff. So if you didn't catch it, Blizzard Activision is getting sued by the California government for labor laws, for sexual harassment claims, and it just keeps going. We talked about this in the last episode, but now, as of today, there is actually an official employee walkout going on for Blizzard Activision employees. There are thousands upon thousands of tweets in support for the walkout, and the demands have been set. But this has all been a real cluster F, so we don't get demonetized. On the part of management at Blizzard, this has been a long time coming. More things seem to be keep coming to light, like the Cosby Suite. All these different things that it just makes them look even worse than they already did, which is pretty hard to do. Any insight, boys? Like, what do you even say at this point? Honestly, what do you say other than I really hope change happens now?
It's such a hard topic to talk about. Well, when it comes to actionable things, so what can you do? Like, what can I do? What can the gamer do? When it comes to actionable things, it's a really tough conversation to have. And people, I would encourage you, you have to sort of wade through your opinions on that. You have to take in some outside information and make the best call that you can, because a lot of people's first reaction is, I'll never buy anything Blizzard again. I guess I just refuse to play their games. And then you have other posts coming out where people are like, listen, my friend is a woman developer at Blizzard, and if you boycott their games, you know who that punishes? It punishes her. It's hurting her resume if she wants to go somewhere else. The best thing for her is to have a successful launch, to have a game that's performing well, and to have that under her belt and in her repertoire so that she can move forward with the sort of the best reputation that she can. And so you really, it really is not one of those cut and dry situations where it's black and white. There's a lot of gray area, and people, they really have to wade through their personal feelings on it to come to the conclusion of what they're comfortable with and what's the actionable thing that they can do to help these people out who are sincerely the victims in this whole situation.
Just a quick heads up before we go on. People are saying your mic is just a little touch quiet, Ryan. Maybe just like give it a little
quiet. Got it.
Yeah, yell into the mic. All right, perfect.
Honestly, keep it down because it makes it easier for me to jump and interrupt you, because then I can just come.
This should be a little bit better than hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, this whole thing is absolutely crazy, and there's a walkout staged for
today.
Is it today?
Yeah, it started today.
So huge walkout because essentially, so the timeline is. Basically, we almost were like second to break this story in terms of like, it came out half an hour before we went live on last week's podcast. Like, it was absolutely breaking news. So we were just finding out this information. And of course, it's like starts out bad, and then you read into it and it just gets horrible. Like, we talked about the female employee who committed suicide on a business trip and like just had these horrible things happen to her. And so like, since that happened, they have, in an official capacity, if I'm correct, denied the allegations. So, like, from a legal standpoint, I'm sure their team of lawyers, because, you know, Activision has a massive team of lawyers on retainer. I'm sure that's what they said. They said, deny everything. Then they, you know, they got to prove it. But of course, realistically, it's like, is almost zero chance with all these, you know, credible people coming forward with their experiences, right? There's like zero chance like they truly were completely innocent in all this. So this legal tactic just looks horrible for them. And then all these employees came out and were disgusted by the response of like, we didn't do it, right? And so that's encouraged the walkout. There was also a big open letter, also further criticizing. Like, this whole thing just... A lot of people are making the comment like, Bungie left Activision at the right time, because they are up to some sus stuff and really just had a completely toxic work environment, especially if you are, you know, a female employee. You just got to feel for them.
Yeah.
Like, there was Elena Pierce. I can't remember if I'm saying her name correctly. She used to be in Funhouse. I watched her video on it, and she was kind of just like, the only thing that's surprising is that everyone's surprised. She's like, you know, she was saying that she used to work at a certain studio. I don't think she mentioned it, or if she did, I can't remember. But she's like, there was like a bet. Like, the male employees would bet to see. They're like, oh, who's gonna sleep with her first? Like, well, let's have a bet, right? And it's just like, dude, that's got to be so uncomfortable, so horrible to work under those conditions. Like, that's just horrible. And you know, it's finally coming to light in the biggest way possible for one of the biggest, arguably the biggest, you know, gaming company out there, gaming publishers out there.
And, you know, Asmongold, I was watching some of his reactions to it because, you know, everyone wants to know what is the big World of Warcraft guy thinking. And he's had some pretty damn good statements overall. And, you know, some of the stuff he said, too, is like, I can't imagine they're putting out their best product when the work conditions are like this. I can't imagine people are very inspired. Sure. I can't imagine people are showing up to work really, you know, excited,
ready to go,
right?
Yeah,
they can't
feeling
be
motivated.
They can't be creative when they're worried that John 2 cubicles down is going to grope them at lunch. You know what I mean?
Right.
And if people are worried about, are they going to keep their jobs? They're worried about, are they going to get laid off again? Why do they have passion in the product when they don't even know, will we be on this product long term? Like, will we even see the finish of this game?
And to even double down on that exact idea, the reports of the woman who was literally outperforming everybody on her team by 100%. Like, she was doubling the next best guy.
Well, you can get
in
a
her
lot
department,
done when you're
and
not
she
spending all day groping your employees.
Yeah,
like,
well, and then here's the thing: she gets no raises. Guy number 2 gets raises. She gets no promotion. Guy number 2 gets the promotion to the spot she was in the running for, and is now her boss, who literally performed half as well as she did. You know what I mean? And so now these women have to feel even less motivated because they're seeing hard work gets you nothing. It gets you nothing. Why would I work hard and do the best at this product that I can if it's not going to actually actualize itself into some tangible growth?
And the whole like frat boy culture thing is a problem, because then it's like, it's a problem for everybody, because like you're saying, you don't promote the best employee, male or female. You promote your boy, you promote your bro, right? You get the management position, and then it's like you bring all your friends up. And then again, it's like, who's in charge? Who's left in a leadership position that's allowing this to happen? It's like people who are clearly, at least partially, incompetent at their positions. Because like, they're in charge of the workplace environment, and it's clearly problematic.
And then there was like the leaked messages or comments from upper management that were, the quick and dirty is essentially like, hey man, you can't have all the chicks to yourself. And then they made the joke like, oh yeah, well, I'm Arab, I can marry as many as I want. And then the guy says, upper management,
oh, you mean screw?
Do you mean F them? Like, you know, and so it's like, these comments are coming out there. They're posting that picture with the Cosby, like Bill Cosby in the hotel room. If they're worshiping someone like that, and there's a picture of it, it's just a little weird. I can't imagine most people are.
I will say, I talked to True Vanguard about this. I was like, when I saw it, I was like, no way. Like, this is crazy. So I looked it up because I was like 2013, because all the pictures were from 2013. I was like 2013. Well, wasn't that the year that all this came out? It turns out that the timeline was 2014 was when this exploded. And like I didn't find out until it exploded in 2014. Like Hannibal Buress did a comedy special in 2014, and that's when everyone really started to know, and a bunch of accusers came forward, and this whole thing snowballed.
Right.
So there is a possibility that in the Kotaku article, they mentioned a bunch of people were talking about the sweater colors. There was another lawsuit that happened in 2006 that was kind of settled and wasn't as serious. So maybe they're referencing that, and that would it's still bad. And like you said, the text, they were clearly going to the suite to try to like bang girls. Like they were like, and it was all, again, it's like, yo, how many can you get? We're all gonna meet there. But the Bill Cosby thing, the timeline, I'm not sure works out because it was a year after. But it's like, even then, they could still be referencing him as like, a very
predator.
sus dude, referencing the 2006 lawsuit. So I don't really know what happened there, but like clearly from the texts, it's like you're at a work. Aren't they at like a work function? They're at BlizzCon or something.
And it's like,
Yeah, that's right.
which coworkers can we lure into this room?
Coworkers,
Yeah,
or like, are they going after like fans and stuff?
Oh, probably.
If they're at BlizzCon,
like, I don't want to make
which is, like-
allegations, or just
which is,
other people
yeah.
in the industry, right? Because like,
Exactly.
a marketing person or someone else for another game, like
Which is, like-
they're colleagues. You can't be schmoozing in the company or
It's so-
company's pod.
Dude, it's so toxic because like we've been to E3. I don't got time to schmooze, boy. Like what?
That's
the
right.
What the hell are you
That's
doing?
right. You're doing your capture events. You go back to your room and you're
I'm
like,
like,
I gotta
yeah.
squeeze out some content real quick
I'm
before
like-
I go out drinking with the bros.
Exactly. Yeah, you maybe get a couple drinks in with your friends, and then you're off editing your video because they have the stupid embargo go live the next day at 8
That's
a.m.
right.
You're
I'm
like,
thinking
oh my
work,
god.
work.
It's like it's like these idiots get any work done. Like you go to an event, and it's like it's such an amazing. It sucks because it's, from my perspective, it's like I'm have the perspective of like a content creator, and like I just said, like you go to these events and you're like, wow, there's so many huge people in the industry. You're trying to network. You're trying to like introduce yourself, and these people are so scummy. They're using that. They're basically like preying downwards on these.
That's
again,
exactly
like,
it.
new people into the industry. Hi, it's my first year. You're
Come on
some
over. We
huge
got a
guy
thing
at-
going on tonight.
Come to the Bill Cosby suite. It's like
That's
it's
right.
so
I
sus,
can't
dude.
imagine how like sincerely soul crushing it must have been for these women who thought they were getting an invite to a situation where they had the opportunity to do some networking,
with a
meet some new
huge
people,
like huge
you know,
developers.
lead developers, like, and they went into that thinking, this is it. This is my opportunity to really show who I am, what I'm capable of, impress somebody, and shed some light on what I have to offer, just to find out that your sole purpose for being there is to be hit on, touched, and people are thinking about what they're going to do with you. I can't imagine how soul crushing that experience must have been. I feel so horrible for him.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like
And
Harvey Weinstein type relationships. Like I can only imagine how many times it's like, so you want to work on that game?
Yeah, exactly.
What do you want to what
And
do you
like you
what do you want to
said,
do first?
It's like you said, it's like how many good employees, and male and female, like obviously a lot female, that are passing up being like, what? I don't want to work for these psychos, right?
Yeah.
Or male employees who don't want to be part of that culture. They're grossed out by it too. They're like, I don't like these guys are super inappropriate. I don't want to be part of this. And it's like, you've seen this massive decline in the product, right? Like a lot of the World of Warcraft players have not been happy with how things are going. And it's just like, is it the people who are
There's
left
a correlation.
are the toxic people, and then it's just getting more and more toxic and horrible, and it's just a bad work environment. Like you said, like it almost reflects in the product, and it's just like, how many amazing employees are not working there because you guys are all scumbags.
Yeah.
I felt so
Not
bad.
all,
There was
a
a
lot.
clip that surfaced on social media just this past week of one of the BlizzCons, years back when all this was alleged to have been taking place, and this fan of the game, they were doing a Q&A with some of the lead devs on the Warcraft panel, and this woman came forward during the Q&A. She grabbed the mic. It was her turn to speak. She asked a question. I'm a huge fan of the game. I love playing Warcraft. I was just wondering so that I can maybe find some identifying features with the characters I'm playing. Do you have any plans to maybe make the female characters a little less sexualized? You know, all the armor is like skimpy. You know, that's kind of what she's getting at. Like, I want to play my character, but feel some connection with it. But I'm not an over sexualized person myself. You know, and the panel laughed at her. They made fun of her comment, and basically just made jokes about it, and said essentially, no, we're not going to make our characters any less sexualized. That's kind of what we do. Was sort of the bottom line of it, and I felt so horrible. Just watching that, I just cringed a little bit, just feeling like how uncomfortable for this woman who's such a huge fan of this game to propose a question like that, just to be met with ridicule and disdain, and to understand now what's going on behind the scenes and how that might have informed their response to that question.
Yeah, like how blind they are to it that they're just laughing at it and they have no inclination to understand that question. Like,
that's right.
Well, why
Can
would
you
they feel like
that for us?
Yeah, like
why do you feel that way? Yeah,
right. How do we fix that? Like, there's no even attempt there, and so it gives you an idea of it.
It's such a reasonable request too. It's like, listen, if you have the bikini armor, that's fine. It's an RPG. Let me put the bikini armor on, but also let me put on the actual plate mail. Let me put on have the full gambit. Like, why you gotta? It's like, oh no, it only has to be the bikini armor. You better get an arrow right here. Like, otherwise you might die. It's just like so ridiculous. And again, it's like, yeah, the whole thing not good. And now, one of the interesting tweets I saw, I don't know if you guys saw this, I think Paul Tassi posted a screenshot of it or something. One of the developers was like, there's no work being done now at the studios. Like, this is obviously taken over everything, and everything's grinded to a halt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right? I saw that one.
It's like, and so that's another huge thing. So it's like, is there going to be a Call of Duty this year? I mean, it sounded like a lot of this took place at Blizzard over Activision. But I'm sure it's not, completely Blizzard and not Activision. I'm sure like Activision has its fair share of problems. But sure. It's like, are they gonna like delay everything? Like they obviously have to deal with this.
I would imagine it wouldn't have too much. If I had to make a guess, I would say I don't anticipate this would have too much of bearing on release schedules for Activision exclusive titles moving forward. Just because, yeah, they have to deal with it, but there's really not a lot of overlap in those teams. Like, who's going to deal with it and who's developing Activision games? There's probably literally not a single person that would overlap and cross the gap between those two teams. Probably not one. So I would anticipate Activision games will probably be right on schedule. Everything's going to be pretty unaffected in that. It's really, I think, PR related and upper management that would have to deal with this Blizzard stuff, would be my guess. Because even the funding for these Activision titles is probably completely separate from the funding that's allocated for the Blizzard projects. I would imagine. I'm really not an expert in all that, but that would be my guess.
I mean, you probably have. I mean, a lot of top management people are
probably concerned with this
might be
and involved in this.
They completely. So it could be they're directionless at the helm type of thing. Like this is like probably the biggest like gaming story of the year. Is this story right here?
One of the funny like reactions to a tweet. I can't remember who tweeted it out, but someone at Blizzard was kind of like, "You guys are all asking for us to like fix the game and stuff. Like, there's more important things going on right now, and like there is more important things, but also no one asked you to be groping everyone and like grinding production to a halt because you've created this toxic environment. It's like, yeah, we paid for this game and you haven't updated it because no one's working because they hate working there. Like, it's just such a tough thing to solve because the customers are upset and they want the new thing, but like they need to drastically fix the environment that's there, right? But if they're doing that, then those customers are pissed off, and so like there's just anger from so many different ways. But the biggest thing is like, if you ever want Blizzard to be a thing, if you ever want Blizzard to improve, unfortunately, those human resource and human rights things have to change first, because you can't just go from this point forward without making changes. or people are going to boycott the games. People already are boycotting the games, but the workplace environment just isn't going to create a good product long term. It has to be fixed at the root.
Yeah, like if everyone or a huge chunk of people are miserable working there, like, yeah, they're not going to turn out the best work. And like you said, if there's evidence of like they're not even promoting the best, most capable, most productive people, it's even worse.
Right. Now,
So
do you guys want to jump on with some new games, maybe a new world for people to explore?
well,
New
interestingly,
World. Ooh.
and True Vanguard was mentioning that it kind of like like people are obviously upset at Activision Blizzard. So you have a lot of people in World of Warcraft, especially.
They're looking for an MMO.
They're looking for
If
an
I'm
MMO.
jumping ship, if I don't feel a connection to this company anymore, where do I land? What's my landing place? And for a lot of people, that's Tribes of Midgard. That's New World. There's some new MMO experiences out there that are crushing it. New World, I think, surprised a lot of people. I don't think people were expecting it to be as good as it has been.
I wanted to jump in. I had a code, but I didn't have time with all the Genshin stuff, but it looks really good.
Sure.
I don't know if I want to
cried-
be hurt again by an MMO. I'm like,
All right.
Yeah, I cried about it I cried about not having a code on Twitter, and then someone sent me a code, which I really appreciate. And I was telling TV, unfortunately, it crashed my computer, and then when I restarted my computer, I didn't even open up the game, and it crashed again with the same like error code. And then I got scared, so I just started in safe mode. And I deleted New World, and so I was like, I feel bad because it's like the game is clearly it's still in beta. Obviously, you got to give them a little bit of slack. Like they're gonna have crashes, they're gonna have whatever.
Yeah.
I would have loved to like try it again, but I was like, I can't risk it because I don't have a backup rig really. So it's like if this rig goes down, like obviously that's devastating for me. So I'm gonna give it another try when it's
stable.
a little bit more stable. But the time I had, it seemed like sweet. I was like, oh, it's like an interesting concept, and I haven't played like a true MMO where like I was running around and there's like so many other people there, and they're all like doing their own thing, and they're all like killing boars or whatever in the background, like farming their own stuff. I was like, bro, like you come across people in Destiny, but it's not quite the same. This felt like actual like World of Warcraft, like proper MMO.
It puts
right?
the M in MMO, the massive side of it, right?
Yeah.
Like, you really recognize the scope of it, and you're kind of looped in with so many different people. Yeah, it's a great experience.
Yeah.
So one interesting thing, just because you mentioned Asmongold too, he actually just tweeted out today that he hit 40,000 subs on Twitch, the highest he's ever been. So even when Classic WoW came out, even when New World of Warcraft stuff happened, he's never had 40,000 subs on Twitch, and now he's playing Final Fantasy, the new MMO, and he gets the highest record ever, which is pretty crazy overall. And
it's nuts.
It just goes to show that maybe people are interested in these new MMOs like Final Fantasy, and they've been blind a little bit too long because of the World of Warcraft, kind of being one of the big poobahs. And now that they're branching out, people are saying, hey, damn, there's some
other people can make MMOs.
Yeah, right? There's some new games out here, New World. We're eventually going to have this Ashes of Creation. There's a bunch of different games that have been catching people's eyes. And
I'm interested to play. You want to sponsor your boy to go play these games,
It's time.
Do it.
A lot of really popular creators have sung the praises of these new games. You got people like Gathalion and Glad, Aztecross, some big creators out there who are like, this game's really freaking good. I'm making content on this game, whether you like it or not. I'm playing it. I'm gonna make you know what I mean? So
I'm so jealous. Like that's why I said sponsor, because it's like I don't make variety content, so it's like for me to justify putting time into a new game, it's really risky because I put it out, it gets 20,000 views because the algorithm is like, you don't make New World content, you freaking idiot. We're not going to show any of your subscribers this. Yeah. And then you just it goes nowhere. So that's the unfortunate part when you're in the content creation business. It's really hard to jump onto a new game.
It's scary, isn't it?
But like, these look really interesting. These look really cool. I mean, it's kind of a little bit bad timing for at least for the Destiny side. I don't know about the Genshin side, Tash, but like from the Destiny side, we have this huge new season coming out August 24th, which is like right. I think New World is like August 29th. So like,
There's a
unfortunately,
lot of overlap. Yeah.
it's like obviously I'm not going to be able to dive into New World at launch, but
But you know what I will be able to dive into?
Battlefield, baby.
Battlefield, baby.
Woo!
I'm gonna
Let's
be
go.
like I'm gonna be like Destiny. What? I don't even know what that is.
Wait, we're jumping ahead. We got to talk about Splitgate. We're too.
And
right, sorry.
Tribes of
I'm
Midgard.
just excited.
True.
Yeah, Midgard got a lot of love too. People are
It
really
did,
liking. They're really liking that spin on that sort of MMO top-down RPG feeling. And I haven't tried it out yet myself, but I'm excited. It wasn't really on my radar too much until I started seeing people talk about it, posting clips. I'm like, that kind of looks fun.
Mm-hmm.
Might have to try that out.
Yeah, I got a bunch of emails recently, just from like what's it called? I can't remember the company, but they just give you like, they don't do a lot of sponsorships. It's just like, do you need a key? We'll give you a key. And there's been a couple like roguelike games recently. And there's so many games I'm really interested in playing right now. It seems like we're getting a little bit
email.
of yeah, seriously, maybe. But it seems like we're starting to get a spin up in some of these little indie games, and we're getting closer to some of the big projects. But then a dead project or seemingly dead project has been resurrected with like a $10 million investment, and that's Splitgate.
This is a crazy story.
They're coming
This
out
is
with
really cool,
right? They're coming out with ranked modes. They're like investing in the game. Sure.
I'm going to interrupt. I'm sorry,
Okay,
but
that's
we
good,
should
that's good,
explain
good.
what Splitgate is.
Sure.
Let's. So
Splitgate is an arena shooter.
Yeah.
That's based really off of it's almost exclusively inspired by the original like Halo 3
Quake
especially
as
arena.
well, I thought.
And Quake, yeah, there's a lot of influence there. It sort of takes that same vibe. Movement is very much similar. Movement speed's very similar to those original arena shooters. The only difference is that you can create these portals that you can move through, and it kind of helps you move around the map, get the drop on people. It's a pretty cool concept, and it was kind of accepted well when it launched, like the first
2 years ago.
the alpha.
2 years ago, right?
Was it the alpha that was 2 years ago?
I first started hearing about this game 2 years ago, and I remember it was like people thought it was a cool idea. It's like people who were fans of like Quake and stuff like that. It was like pure arena shooters. We're into it, but it was very niche. It was very, very niche.
And I wonder,
and then,
like with a game like that, sometimes they just don't pop off because not enough streamers pop off, or like not enough people give it a shot.
They're just like, of factors.
It looks cool, but I'll see what everyone else says. But then everyone does that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, Volkers had been playing Splitgate since it was new, so maybe tell us, because I don't know exactly the catalyst, but something happened where this game went from like niche, almost, you know what it is, almost like Among Us. It was niche, a few people were playing it, it wasn't necessarily dead, but it wasn't alive either, and then suddenly it just started to blow up.
Well, weren't there some sponsored streams? Like that?
There
were like some sponsored streams that were popping off, they got a lot of viewers, and then next thing you know, their player population was, what did they reach? Was it a quarter of a million? Was it a quarter of a million players one day? I don't know exactly. I don't take that to the bank. But it did well enough that an investor was like, okay.
Oh, someone's saying, oh, okay. So you know what it was? Is because they announced it was coming to console. So all the console people jumped on board as well. And it went free to play. So was it not free to play? And then it went free to play? That's huge, obviously. Yeah. So it goes on console, and obviously you also definitely do have some, I guarantee there was like some streamer influence. Like there was a day a big streamer played Splitgate, and then some like medium-sized streamers saw that big streamer, and then they started to play Splitgate. And so you really do have like a snowball effect.
Yeah,
it's like
look at this. In May 2019, when they launched, they had an average player base of around 4,500, and so there's going to be a little bit of spike on some of the days, but then it dropped down to like 500, and it's been like 100 to 200 average players per month, right?
Yeah.
But in the last 30 days, it's averaging 2,600 players. However, it broke the concurrent player base record by a long shot, getting 32,000 concurrent players at one point. For a couple hours, it dropped down to 10,000, 11,000, back up to 28,000. So, from this announcement, and people streaming it and playing it.
I'm sorry. Maybe I saw 25K and thought 250K. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it could have been. It could have been that. But like
100 to 25K concurrent is insane.
Yeah, you've like 250 times your player base.
That's insane.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Long story short, an investor was impressed, said, "We'll give you $10 million."
Well, it wasn't just that. So it was an important part of the story is that this success had a downside. The servers crashed. Like they could not
That's
handle
right, yeah.
it, right? So they're having huge server issues, and so they actually tweet out like, we went out, like we've secured $10 million in funding, and we're going to reinvest into the game, obviously improve the server architecture, all this stuff. So yeah, that's a wild story that there was like 100 players playing this for 2 years basically, and then they come to console and it's free to play. And again, I guarantee you had a few streamers hop on board. Maybe they shelled out just enough money to get a couple streamers on board, and then those streamers like obviously legitimately had fun, right?
Right.
And then it's just the floodgates open, right?
You know what's too bad though is like if only this happened like 5 months ago or 6 months ago, got people hooked, because literally like this weekend people are getting their codes for the Halo Infinite like alpha or like beta, and so it's is that just gonna take all the wind out of the sails? Maybe it doesn't. Maybe people despise Infinite. I don't know. But it's just like the timing of it is a little rough.
Timing. I mean, better now than when Halo Infinite actually releases, you know. So
yeah, fair.
But it's just like another story, and it's like the same thing happened to Among Us, where it's like just small player base, and then blows up, and then the developer's like, oh, what? It's kind of weird. Like you'd almost expect it to blow up close to its launch, but nope. Like it's just a and it's funny. But it's funny. Like both Splitgate and Among Us, you could have called dead games. Like I'm sure there's like people who were enjoying Splitgate when there was like 100 concurrent players, and they were like trying to tell their friends, like, bro, you gotta try Splitgate.
Telling you.
And he's like, dude, that's a freaking dead game. Literally, nobody cares about this game. And then now it's like the hottest new thing. Yeah. It's just funny. Like you can never count these games out, man. Like sometimes it just like takes time for people to like realize a game is good.
You need the right climate when you put your product out there. No doubt. We've seen that so many times. Like how many games have just died because the climate was not good. Like Titanfall 2 even had that problem. Incredible game. Like one of the best PvP shooters with an incredible campaign of
released between Battlefield 1 and Call of Duty. Like it was like here. It was like
that's right. Let's put it right between two giants, and it tanked. It tanked.
I still cry.
Even though it was incredible.
I still cry about Battleborn. And you're probably like, what's Battleborn? Exactly.
Did I play that together?
Yes.
In beta?
Yeah.
Like we got the codes for it.
And Data was there one time, and Fruit.
I played with you guys a couple games, I swear.
Yeah, and like that game. It was like more of a MOBA than Overwatch. Like there was like an economy. You would kill enemies, do different objectives. You could upgrade your artifacts. You could level up your character. And like
open maps.
Yeah, there was like a whole economy to the game, and it was kind of like Overwatch, like a hero shooter, lots of abilities. But then it had that macro game, the long term. It's like, okay, I'm not going to fight. I'm not going to defend this point, but I'm going to farm minions, and I'm going to be stronger than you later. And I loved it. Yeah. I truly thought it had so much potential, but it came out like the day after Overwatch or something. Like it was just a terrible time to release it. One of the biggest competitors and companies.
No, you're almost right. I remember this because I enjoyed it too. When it released, I think the same time it released, the Overwatch beta free for everyone.
That's what it was.
Went live and killed it.
Yeah,
it was just like how sad. They should have delayed the launch, or honestly, they should have launched it sooner, like a week sooner. That would have like maybe even saved the game, because a lot of people thought it was like really a fun game, but it came out at the same time in the beta, and then no one cared about Battleborn. Everyone was full bore on Overwatch, right? Yeah. It was a really unfortunate thing. But that game, it never got the player base. It died. They shut down the servers recently, actually.
Yeah.
So.
Steven Mendoza with a $5 donation. He said, "Who is the sponsor this week?" Well, you know the answer to that one because it's
Love
the
you,
same
Steve.
sponsor every single month. Advanced.gg. Did you know you get an amazing energy drink of multiple different flavors? There's the Mtashed Mango Splash. There's the Kakkis Kiwi Lime. There's a ton of amazing shakers that you could purchase as well.
There's the True Vanguard Blackberry Mojito.
That's not a thing.
That's
I
not a
wish.
thing, made
I
that
wish. And
Yeah.
you can get 10% off with code RGH. That's the name of the podcast. RGH, 10% off. Get yourself some advanced and enjoy.
Support us all, and then the money goes to an account. We don't know. It's in the Bahamas.
You should have been paid. And if you didn't get paid, we'll figure that out. Okay, so let's move on now to some huge EA announcements. Apex getting a new character. There's a new season launching next week, I believe, on the 3rd. But that's always exciting. There's a new character, Seer, who looks kind of OP. A couple
He's
people.
a tracker, yeah.
I saw Snipe Down posting about it, saying, this is going to be interesting. Listen to some of the stuff he had to say. It essentially gives you bloodhound vision through walls, which is, it's nuts. It's very, very powerful. I could see it being, abused in a lot of different ways. But you have to see, there's a lot of great characters in the game, and you could argue what they do is OP. The movement of Octane, the verticality of Horizon. There's lots of different things there. So
very rarely, I will say this to Respawn's credit, very rarely have they launched a new character OP. There's only been a couple of times where that's happened. They had to bring Horizon down a couple of notches when she launched.
But it's not. It's not 9 months later.
That's right. It's almost instantaneous. They are very intentional about avoiding the situation where they launch a character that you have to pay for. That's broken. They're very cautious about that. They have never been criticized for launching a character and intentionally making it so good that you have to buy it. Stasis. So
yeah, Bungie.
I will say I'm pretty hesitant when people are looking at a gameplay trailer and saying this looks broken. I'm very hesitant to believe that because of Respawn's history with launches. On top of that, also content creators, I say this as a content creator, notoriously over sensationalize new character launches in the Apex community.
Is this broken?
What they have learned is that if you put out a video an hour after a new character goes live talking about how OP it is, that video will perform like
very well,
300% better than the guy who collects gameplay and even the next day, 24 hours later, posts a very thorough, well thought out review of this character. And while the second guy's video is much better, it will get swallowed up in the algorithm. And Apex content creators have learned this. Say the new character's OP, put your video out almost immediately after launch, it'll pop off, and you will drown out the guy who has good information about that character the next day.
Yeah.
I hate that.
You see it every, single, I'll definitely, if a weapon's good, I'll call it good. Or if I think a weapon's the best, I'll call it the best. But definitely overpowered is a pretty big thing. But you'll see that especially with Warzone, especially with Apex, a lot of the big, it's a lot of the people who stream it's basically a stream highlight. It's their first couple of games or even first game where they do well, and they do well because they're very good at the game. And then they just say, yeah, like you said, it's OP character, OP weapon, OP whatever. And that can definitely influence, it can influence opinions. I think a lot of people just know, at this point, it's been done so many times, I think people might know, okay, it's just good, you're just kind of sprinkling in a little bit of bait, it might not actually be OP, but
right.
Yeah.
Some of the biggest content creators in the Apex community were the first to put out videos about how Fuse is OP, and Fuse is now one of the least used characters in all of Apex Legends.
Yeah.
Well, there's an easy solution. It's stop clicking on those freaking videos. Insane clickbait. I made a tweet talking about how it's I see a Destiny reset video and it's new exotics and stuff, and I'm just Jesus Christ, really? But it's the exotics are in Eververse. It's oh, okay. And then the thumbnail is using an exotic from the database that's not even in the game. And it's like, okay, how many times, like, how are we clicking on it? And I just made a tweet about it. I'm like, it's like, oh, bro, like these are clickbaity. And then I get people who are like, well, Kackis, you're one to talk. Like, you're a big clickbaiter. I'm like, how do I clickbait? They're like, well, you said this gun was good. And I'm like, yeah.
Good.
I'm like, and I spend the entire video talking about why I think it's good.
I quantify it. I give you evidence, data, statistics.
It's like, and I'm not even necessarily claiming like the weapon's the best. I'll say like, don't sleep on this, or like you should get this weapon. And I'll explain like, hey, they're buffing scout rifles next season. This is a scout rifle. Like, this is priced to move. This is performing well right now. Like, I'm not saying like, if you use this, you're literally like, you're
never gonna
die. You're
solo GMs.
You're gonna be posting Frostbolt's gameplay. Like, that's gonna be your gameplay. Literally start using this. It's like, but it's like, if people, it's crazy. It's like, if you think that's clickbait, it's like, no wonder these people are getting away with it. Because it's like, why wouldn't I just go all in and post like, database stuff that's not even in the game? So it's like, you guys need to be more aware at like, if you get baited, if someone's posted 3 videos in a row talking about
only once, shame on me.
No, it's like, bro, you clicked the 4th video about the Court of Oryx 2.0 that never actually was anything. Stop! You got baited, bro. Stop.
A good title and a good thumbnail is not clickbait. Clickbait is when you say something is going to happen or is in the game and it never happens or never did happen.
Video.
When you're saying how to get this new exotic and then it's like, well, we don't actually know. It's like, that was clickbait. Exactly. That was BS.
How to get new exotic guide. We're just going to look at the database, and then it like doesn't show you where to start the quest and everyone's like confused. Like, it's like, okay, well, that's clickbait, dude.
Clickbait is when Allie put search the meteor. And it has like a search thing, and then everyone's going to the meteor, and it's like, well, you can't search it. That's clickbait because it's literally not real. It's literally like a fake thing.
Giving your opinion on a gun is not clickbait. Like, if you think that, you're dumb, and you're the reason that people clickbait so much, because then if everything's clickbait, then might as well go to the extreme with it, right?
Yeah. Now, moving back to some EA announcements. There is going to be a Dead Space remake or new Dead Space, which I won't be playing because I'm too much of a baby, but cool for the people that are liking the horror genre. Dead Space, critically acclaimed, kind of gay. But the big one here is Battlefield Portal. I learned about this just before. Kackis telling me it's kind of like Forge mode, you were saying. You can make different game modes in Battlefield. You can use some of the old maps. There's parameters you can set as if you were a developer for the game. That looks really cool. And, I was already hyped for Battlefield. Is Battlefield Portal supposed to just launch with the new game? It's like a Forge mode built into the framework of the game?
True Vanguard, nice timing there.
Oh my god,
ganging up on the hater.
Were you guys even listening to me? You're too busy typing in chat.
Oh no,
we had to gang up. We had to gang up on a hater in chat. It's pretty funny. So Battlefield Portal is absolutely insane. Like, you mentioned Halo Forge, right, Tash? It's kind of like that, where you can completely customize these absolutely insane parameters. Like, you actually get a logic thing where it's like, if this happens, then that happens. They showed off some of the game modes you can create, like that Courage JD guy, Tash.
That Courage JD guy.
What the hell is his name? Courage JD, is it not?
He's like one of the biggest content creators in the entire industry. You're like, that Courage JD
I know Courage is. I just was wondering if it was JD or it was some other letter. I forgot the letters. There's Courage.
You should find it out.
They showed off, like, he kind of, obviously with the help of them, created a mode, and it's like, this is one of the modes you can do. So it was like VIP, where there's like one person on, it's like, might be like 25v25. One person is like the VIP. You have to kill that guy. Every time you spawn, it's a completely random loadout. So maybe you get a sniper rifle. Maybe you get like the Thompson SMG from World War II. Maybe you get a modern MP5 SMG. Like, it's all this crazy stuff, right? And then you like go and battle. And it's like, dude, they showed in the trailer a whole team of knives, of World War II guys with knives versus a whole team of like defibrillator guys trying to shock you to death,
that was
and
pretty
they're just
funny.
like fighting a knife and a defibrillator. It's like, bro, that's hilarious. And just in terms of like content, like that's like, dude. Some of the content, I swear to God, dude, the content like that does better than I could ever dream. I, work my butt off to beat a raid day one. Like I will stay up, as long as it takes 24 hours. It doesn't matter. I will beat that raid, and then as soon as it's done, I go and work my butt off to make a guide, try to help as many people as I can, just for some guy in the chat to say that I'm worthless. But then all that work, and I get maybe 1 million views as if I'm really lucky, and some dude on Totally Accurate Battle Simulator does 300 Spartans versus 10,000 chickens and gets like 20 million views. It's like, because how could you not click that video? You're like,
That's
bro,
right.
do the chickens win? I gotta see. I gotta see what happens. Or like, and there's another one where it's like you battle these different things, where it's like T-Rex versus like Megalodon and all this dumb stuff, and I'm like, I need to know who wins in this. So that seems like, honestly, that could
be big content, like big content.
Why would, dude, one tank versus 100 soldiers, right? One helicopter versus 100 jeeps, right? Like all this stuff, like like one gun versus 100 guys with knives. Right? It's like, and you have the epic, like the thumbnails of just a guy saying 100 guys with knives charging at him. Like, just in terms of content, just Battlefield Portal seems like it's going to keep the game going for so long. And it's somewhat, it reminds me of Grand Theft Auto, like how people have done all this crazy stuff with Grand Theft Auto, like messing around, just having fun messing around. It seems like that's what Battlefield Portal will do.
Yeah.
You're
giving me ideas.
They're really doubling down in what originally made Battlefield so popular. Some of the best, some of the videos that popped off the most were like trolling dem noobs in Battlefield. It's just guys running up behind people, like perched up on hills with their sniper rifles, and they come up behind them with defibrillators and just shock them to death. Just trolling people.
No, 100%.
It's like, it's just that silly stuff. They're like, let's double down in it. Let's just go full ham on it and let people make really funny content out of our game.
Because what happens? What happens when you can't make content as a developer? The community will. Like
exactly.
Skyrim, there's more content that's custom made than like real content. Like
give
people have
the
made
resources.
whole maps.
Yeah.
People make entire like DLCs for Skyrim. Like,
and Terraria, the Calamity mod is like 1,000 new weapons, 50 new bosses, entire new. It's like, what the?
Like,
you made this, and it's like we created custom blocks to build with, and spells and bows, and we added a new weapon type, and now you can bang your. Wait, that didn't get it, but it's really remarkable what people do when they have those tools in front of them.
And just for game modes, like some of the most popular game modes, even in Call of Duty, are like the party game modes, like Infected, right? Where like, and that would be a super easy one to make, an infected game mode in Battlefield Portal, right? Where like there's a couple of zombies with knives, they knife you, then you have a knife, and you take out, like, that's so when that's available to play in Call of Duty, that's so popular. Not to mention, there's that, like, prop hunt. You guys remember, like, you could probably make a Battlefield Portal prop hunt, right?
Yeah. Dude, like, so prop hunt on, like, Gary's mod? Is what you're talking about? Like, the prop hunt stuff?
Or Call of Duty had prop hunt.
A bunch of people made like a free-to-play game that's on Steam now. What's it called? It's like Prop and Seek free-to-play, where they took that concept and they're like, let's make a whole game out of it. It's super. I play it with my friends all the time. It's super fun.
Yeah, like those type of game modes are super popular. Then they can branch off and create their own things. And again, like just content. You could make like you could make Among Us in Battlefield and have all these different tasks and stuff you have to do. Like, you know what I mean? Like you could have some real creativity, and it just really, really looks like Battlefield is going all in. Like, it seems like they know Battlefield 5 was a disappointment, and they're like, we need this one to be a banger. And like, dude, this really could be the year that Battlefield takes over and takes the crown from Call of Duty, because we know nothing about Call of Duty, which means it's clearly in some development trouble. The fact that they haven't revealed anything so far means that they're still putting it together. And all the Activision Blizzard stuff, not only will that, it will 100%
It'll
have
taint
some
the name.
It'll taint the name, and also it's gonna obviously have some delays and some problems with this game. They're obviously like working up to the wire trying to finish this game, and now you have this happening, dude. Like,
One of the
it's
biggest
gonna be
factors for
insane.
me with Battlefield is that you got to pay to play. I'm so excited about that. It's a weird thing to say, but I love the fact that you got to pay up front for the game and what that means for cheating in this game.
Yeah, exactly.
This is one of those games where if one person is cheating, it can ruin 128 people's experience.
Mhm.
You know, 64 players against 64 players. You got one guy hacking in a jet, killing everybody. 128 people just had their experience. I'm sorry, 127 people just had their experience ruined. Like,
You know what's also so good is like in Battlefield, they let people have their own servers. You will
that's
have
right.
clans and people who own their
Yeah.
own servers, which means if there's a cheater, the server admin can ban him instantly. You
and there's
don't
not a
have to
team
wait-
at the studio.
Yeah, you don't have to wait for Bungie to take 9 months to ban someone who's been like on the top of the leaderboard for like months and months, right? You just have the server admin being like, "This guy's cheating. He's out of the server." In like in a minute, he's gone.
Mhm.
Right? It's like, so this is gonna really, really, really be a huge, like, it's gonna be really hard to cheat in Battlefield, because if you're good, the server admin kicks you out. So let alone if
That's
you're
right.
cheating. Yeah,
That's
you have no
actually
chance.
that's actually a funny story. That's how I got into a competitive clan in
You
Battlefield
said
3.
you were destroying people with
I
the helicopter or
farmed
the
their
jet,
clan
yeah.
in the helicopter. They banned it on the server, and then after I appealed to them, one of the admins was like, "Our guy was just being salty," and they invited me to the clan. And then I ended up doing tourneys and stuff with it. It was great. I loved those guys.
Yeah, dude. So like, yeah, like some people are like, "Oh, I don't want to have to pay. There's so many free games." It's like, yeah, and all those free games are infested with cheaters and shoving
Yeah.
microtransactions down your throat. Like,
But when all your friends are like, "I'm loving Battlefield," and you're over there like, "I'm not willing to pay for it," that's
Yeah.
your loss. That's your choice.
It might be one of those games that you save up for. And there's not many, because there are a lot of games that are just, they're trying to milk you for money. But maybe this is the one where it's like, all right, Christmas, I want to be a Christmas noob. I'm saving up for Christmas. You know, like,
That's right.
I hope mama or grandma buys it for me. But I don't know. Like, Battlefield, I feel like, has never been on top. It's been good, but I don't know if it's ever been on top. Could this be the first time where it really, truly takes over and is the game? I don't know. It'd be a nice change up, honestly. I wouldn't mind
Yeah.
it.
I'm totally
Yeah.
in. As soon as that game launches, I'm gonna go hard on it. I'll be honest, obviously, if it's bad, I'll say so. But I'm so pumped for this game. I really do believe in it.
Yeah. I can't wait to see more. I want more footage. I want more like gameplays. Even if they just do like a couple content creators playing some games, I don't care. I just want to see more footage.
And crossplay, on launch, you're gonna be able to have a pretty big player base, which is great when you're trying to fill lobbies with 128 people.
Yeah, exactly.
It's gonna be truly. I'm really, really looking forward to Battlefield. I can't wait.
You
I'm definitely gonna make content for it. Dude, I want to just listen. I want to just grab like 127 people from the Discord, hopefully, and just go and make those like crazy videos. One tank versus everyone, and just all that stuff, and just put it out there and blow up. Finally, I'll cover a successful game for once. I can't wait, dude. My channel might
You have
not
over
finally
a
be dead.
million subs. Do not complain to
Dude,
me.
shut
about
up,
people
bro. They're all
finally know
bots.
who I am.
No. You know what though? Listen, million subs doesn't matter when you get the views of someone with 300k subs. So you know what I mean. But no, I'm just joking. I'm saying like I am planning on making like just fun videos for Battlefield. If they pop off, they pop off. If they don't, they don't. It's coming out at a pretty good time around that October, November time, right? Late October, right? October 22nd or something. And that's perfect timing because like that'll be just great. It's just great timing. I'm super looking forward to it. The Portal thing was so unexpected. There was like this mystery game mode, and everyone's like, "What is it, Battle Royale?" And it's like, nope, it's just like this crazy custom game where we have all our old maps and our old factions and old weapons, and you can just create your own custom. It's like, whoa, dang, that's crazy. The thing is, in Battlefield Portal, I'm sure you could make a Battle Royale, and like,
Probably good.
128 people in a server on one of those big Battlefield maps. That's as good as a Battle Royale. Like that's literally like,
Some of those maps are enormous.
you could literally make a Battlefield Portal Battle Royale and it would be fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Just randomly spawn everyone and around the map and just go from there, or maybe they could do some sort of like jetpacking system or like or parachuting in, because I mean they've got parachutes in the game, right? So they could just spawn you in parachute mode or something like that. There's lots of ways you could do it.
There could be some really cool stuff.
Now you might need a beefy rig to do that and run a game like that. But what if your PC was now illegal? Well, in California, they are trying
and apparently some other states too.
Oh, really? So there's
not yet.
There's bills they're trying to pass because of the energy consumption of some of the pre-built PCs. They are over the allotted amount. Now, this could extend down the road to custom-built PCs, but what they're doing essentially is looking at, a store-bought PC. They're looking at the specs, they're looking at what's in it, and the energy consumption, and if it's above that level, you can't sell it anymore. And so I think you said Intel is having some PCs banned.
There's a couple of like Dell, I think it's Alienware pre-built that they use up too much energy, and in California you can't sell them anymore. And I think that's already in place like now, with specifically these small subset of computers.
It's important to note that this is specifically related, and this is something that's been overlooked a little bit, but from what I was reading about it, this is specifically related to how much energy they consume when they're not being used. So
they're like always on. They're always like doing something in the background.
Right. So if this really might. I know this sort of blew up as a topic today. I saw it online before you even mentioned it tonight, Kackis. But I think that from what I understand about it, this could not really be an issue if you just develop new habits. Like I'm consistently going to put my PC into sleep mode or energy saving modes when I'm not actively using them. So it might just mean a change in your habits when it comes to
that could very well be the case. But I also don't be a simp. Don't be a bootlicker. Don't be a simp for the frickin' man, brother. Because if I want to have my computer on all day, I'm gonna have my computer on all day. I personally really don't like when it's like, oh, you've got to turn like your computer is using too much energy. You got to replace your light bulbs when 100 companies account for 70% of the world pollution. It's like
that's right. I totally agree with you.
12. I could fill my house every square inch with a PC all running constantly, and I still would produce like a fraction of the emissions as like a massive coal power plant. It's like gaming PCs were not the issue. Yeah,
we've got oil fires in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico, and they're trying to shut your PC down.
Exactly. It's like we've spilled 1 trillion barrels of oil, and what's even crazy? You know what's even crazier? And this is according to that Seaspiracy show on Netflix. Remember the BP oil spill?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was a healthy time for the environment.
Here's the thing.
There was so much overfishing there that when the oil slicked the entire fishing stock actually recovered. That was a good time for the fish because it just stopped the fishing there. The oil, the massive devastation, it was actually good because that's how bad the overfishing was there. So it's like, don't freaking tell me to calm down with my gaming PC. Like when those are issues, it's like basically because it's like, okay, we can't do anything realistic because we're in the pockets of all these lobbyists of these massive billion-dollar companies. So we go after the gaming PCs.
That's exactly it. When it really boils down to it, I can't speak to other countries because I'm not really savvy on that. I live in the U.S. What I know about the U.S. is that when it comes to politicians, it really is informed by the lobbyists. what really rich
Canada's just as
people
bad.
what really rich people are standing behind these folks, and what does that mean for our legislation? Well, they're probably not going to go after the people that sign their checks for their campaigns, and you know what I mean. Like, it really is pretty screwed up, the world we live in right now.
And do you know what? Sorry, you just finish.
I was just gonna say, just the thought of them trying to bully your energy consumption is some of the most hypocritical BS I've heard in a long time.
It's because the people writing those laws are the knuckle-dragging cheaters playing Destiny 2. And they're like, all these real gamers, I've got to shut them down. Like, get the hell out of here. Like, just leave us alone.
The funny thing is, the people trying to pass this legislation, the people really behind it, can't even keep their own website up to date. So it's like, how much do you really know about this?
It's concerning because it's like right now, it's like, okay, we have a couple of pre-builts, but then it's like, once this is a law and you have this energy consumption thing, it's like, well, what if your custom built is over this energy consumption? Like, it's easier to add an addendum to an already existing law. Or like, once you've established this as a thing and it's been a couple years and no one's protested and everyone's just gone along with it, then you add more computers or you add whatever. So it is a little bit of a sucky thing. Maybe we will see a switch towards, you know, hey, this CPU or this GPU uses substantially less energy. It's, you know,
right.
It's California legal. It's a California legal GPU.
It could be a new market. It truly could be a new market.
California legislators are console gamers. They just got sick and tired of hearing PC master race.
Yeah. They're like screw. They're like so bad. They don't know. They're too stupid to turn off crossplay, so they keep getting clapped by the PC snipers. And they're just like, ban them all. But like, yeah, like maybe because like I would imagine like the bigger issue is like you would want a PC that uses less energy because you're paying for the energy. Like I feel like a selling point would be, hey, use our energy efficient GPU. It's just as good. We've got good performance, and then you are paying less for your energy bill. Like you're gonna sell me on that way easier.
For sure.
So
that's going to be it for the main topics of the RGH podcast. We got another $5 donation from DBS Purge. Thank you so much for the donation, supporting the podcast. We really appreciate it. If you guys haven't followed / subscribed to the channel already, if you haven't become a member, you can support us, get some emotes, keep the podcast alive.
Thank you very much. We got almost 500 viewers here. 111 of you decided to hit the like button on the stream today, and we want to say we appreciate that. That actually goes a really long way in promoting the stream out there for new viewers to find it, get involved in our community, and get involved in the podcast. So thank you so much if you took the time to hit that like button. Very, very helpful. Also, thank you so much to anybody who hit the subscribe button. We're up over 21,000 subscribers on the channel right now for our podcast, and we love each and every one of you. Thank you so much for choosing to opt in to see our content. That means a lot to us.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun with this. We do it every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern time, and it is seriously a highlight of my week every week. Doesn't matter how busy I am. Doesn't matter what's going on. Getting together with my boys and talking about gaming is pretty sweet. But we will take a few minutes now, do some RGH After Dark, I suppose.
RGH After Dark.
So if you guys want to ask us some questions, if you want us to just start ranting and raving about some things, that's typically what ends up happening. But this is where it just stops being as professional, and we start talking about the hottest chicks in Genshin Impact.
Oh gosh, come on, man.
What is this Activision? Is this Activision Blizzard?
Hey,
what are you doing?
Have you not seen the new? No, I'm just kidding.
Character?
Young Faye.
She pulls a sword out of her booba, and everyone is like, yeah.
Every time hashtag Genshin Impact comes up, I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, is there a new update? And it's like the first thing I see, it's just like anime titties, like, oh, I just like this character. I
drew
D-Luke as a woman, and it's like, whoa!
You're like,
I don't want to see that. Wait,
there's a lot of very talented artists within the Genshin community.
You know what I learned this week?
What?
I learned, because I've been putting this off for a long time. I was like, man, I'm kind of bored with anime. All my Black Clover's on pause. I'm all caught up on Fairy Tail. I've watched this and that, and I was like, I've never watched My Hero Academia. I'll give it a shot. So I started watching My Hero, and then I learned pretty quickly that the fan base for that game is kind of crazy because these are like supposed to be like junior high kids, and some of the fan art out there, I'm like, and what the community shares, I'm like, oh, I do not want to be a part of this.
Yeah, that's
I'm
not
good.
okay.
I'm good.
I know what it's so annoying, and movies do that too, where it's like Twilight, and it's like we're in high school. It's like everyone here is 35. You're 35-year-old act like high schoolers don't look like that, dude.
I'm like, this is supposed to be a 13-year-old character. You know that, right?
But it's like, and like the one girl, Yayarozu, her battle costume is like, it's like this because that's her ability. She like can morph stuff out of her body and do these like, let's just say chemical reactions, and it's just like. But does she need to wear that? And if she's a teenager, it's like, why are you drawing her like that? Like, isn't that exactly wrong? Right. Like, oh, it's so messed up. It's truly messed up. And like the one girl, she's like, she has to take all her clothes off to use her ability. And it's like, are you really? Really? You got come on.
So enough talking about sus anime stuff. We have someone saying, I know you guys talked about Splitgate. I was wondering if you've heard about Lemnisgate. It's a beta, just ended, and it'll come to Game Pass on September 28. I have absolutely no idea what that game is.
The only Lemnis I know is Lemnis bread from Lord of the Rings. No, I've never heard of it.
Looking it up right now.
TV.
Wait. Hold on. I think, slightly heard of this game. So it's a turn-based combat FPS. So it's like you're in a time loop, and you have to like. It's kind of a cool concept. You have to
I've seen that one.
Do stuff, and then you kind of go back in time and all that stuff. Hey, listen, Lemnisgate wants to do a little sponsored video. I'll play it 100%. But like I said, it's not a great thing. It's just like I with the new DLC coming out for Destiny soon, like I can't justify going and playing a new game randomly and getting 15,000 views. So, tell Lemnisgate your boy would play their game 100%.
If they paid me.
Steven Mendoza,
a reasonable fee.
Steven Mendoza wants to know what is in your glass. Is it a mojito?
That's a great question, and the answer to that question kind of goes back to a question someone asked at the beginning of the show. They're like, "Why is TV sitting down today?" The answer to that question is
We
spent some time with friends tonight before the show. I spent a couple hours with some friends of mine, and they asked me to do cocktails because that's kind of my thing. I really love mixology. So
you don't say.
You've been hiding it
before we hit the show. We'd done margs, mojitos, whiskey sours,
bro.
And now, now in the glass is Eastern Kills straight rye.
I thought you were drinking water to sober up. He says, "I'm gonna have some water."
In my defense, I did down a glass of water first,
and then you chased it with whiskey. Come on.
This guy,
my liver is like, do you know who I am?
What liver? This guy, your liver's on Life Smart. You know what? You said though, you're like, what? Someone asked why I'm sitting. It's like, yeah, why are you sitting? Not by choice, by necessity. I need to sit down.
We also got a $5 donation from Awkward Misfit. Do you guys ever mix your advanced GG flavors? If so, what are some recipes you try?
So I actually mixed mine and Tash, and it is literally just like a tropical sensation. It's just like the kiwi, the passion fruit, the mango. It's good. Honestly, it is good. It's
got that kick. I find the Frostbolt, if you add that to pretty much anything, it just adds sour. So it's like if you want to have something, you add that. It's got some sour. Pretty good.
So something else that is like important, I think is really good is so the birthday cake flavor and the birthday cake flavor and the strawberry mix really well with milk. Like you can make strawberry milk, and the birthday cake mixed with milk is like vanilla milk. So good, dude.
Yeah, it truly is. Throw it in a milkshake. That's a tip. Throw it in a milkshake. Like if you're making a smoothie, you can like flavor it up a little bit like that, or just give you some energy. I just have like vanilla protein powder and like some milk, and then birthday cake, and it's like a vanilla. I throw in a little bit of banana. It's pretty fire.
There you go.
We got another question here. How's Inazuma? Oh wow, it's amazing. It's good. I'm enjoying Inazuma, the new region in Genshin. running out of content rapidly, but it's been good, and there's more islands coming, so I'm happy.
Good. Isn't there a bunch of new weapons too, or no? Am I wrong about that?
Yeah, there's like 5 new weapons. They're all craftable weapons, so
That's good.
that's fun to go over them. Because for some people, they literally are game changers because they missed an event to get a comparable weapon, or they just haven't got lucky. Like the sacrificial sword, it resets your cooldown on your like E ability, and it's amazing on a couple characters like best in slot. And in 9 months, I didn't get one, and I got it like last week. I cheered more for that weapon than a 5-star character. I was so excited.
Wow.
And so if you don't get lucky, you might not have a good claymore or a bow, and so they've given some really good options, which I'm happy about.
Also,
Great.
some folks in chat were asking about our feelings on Pokemon Unite. I haven't played it, but
We talked
I've
about
seen
it last time, though.
I've seen
Oh,
a
go
lot
ahead.
of people say that. I mean, a lot of my friends are really liking it right now. You know, I've always been a fan of Pokemon, but yeah, I guess I was a little out of the loop. I've kind of had a couple of weeks away. I haven't been working as hard these past couple of weeks. Did some vacationing, all that business, so it's a little disconnected. So when people were first getting into it, I wasn't around.
Mhm.
But from what I can see, people are really excited about it, having fun with it.
Yeah. It's just like, I'm not going to stream the game, and I don't have a ton of time right now to play anything other than what I'm already doing. I do have some family stuff going on with my grandpa, so I've been away last week. I'm leaving actually tomorrow for another 4 days. So, you know, Pokemon Unite is just not really in my priorities right now. And it's
Yeah.
on. If it was on PC, I would try it. I just don't want to play a MOBA game on Switch, really. I don't know.
I heard Gengar's busted.
Why? Yeah, I've heard, I mean, you can counter them, but I've heard there's some balance issues as well. Anything else? They just need to fix the drop rates for the materials to make those weapons? Yeah, oh yeah, 100%.
Right, I saw Aloy. Someone in chat was talking about that. I saw Aloy was coming to Genshin. That's kind of a neat crossover.
Yeah, that video popped off. It got like 500,000 views or something like that. In next patch, so like let's say 4 weeks from now, if you log in on PlayStation, you get Aloy, and she's a 5-star cryo bow user. And the leaked like kit she has, she'll help literally everyone. Anyone who picks her up is going to enjoy it. And even if you don't log in on PlayStation, the next patch, so another 6 weeks later, you can log in and get her like anyone. So that's pretty sweet. And then there's the 1-year anniversary coming up for Genshin, like in a month or two. So I don't know. I feel like the game is. Apparently, it was a $100 million gamble, and it paid off way more than they expected. And so now,
I bet they banked a way more than that.
Right? They made that much off me. So
I bet they did.
So, you know, it's one of those things where it's like the dev cycle was probably behind, and now this new region is launching, but maybe the next region won't be 9 months away. It'll be 6. And maybe the next one will be 3 months away. Who knows? But it seems like they have hired a lot of people, and the production value is there. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. And especially now after seeing the new region, if you are just starting Genshin Impact today, you have an amazing game in front of you because you have all the quests and all the chests of the other regions. And even if you lost or missed out on some of the events, now that you've got Inazuma, it is undoubtedly an amazing game overall. With 100 hours of gameplay, and you won't run out of it. So
Yeah.
it's got a lot of legs.
Yeah.
Yo, TR Smash with a Real Gamer upgrade. Thank you so much for joining the Real Gamers. It almost sounds like a play on my name.
Someone
Smash.
had a good question. They're like, what do you think of Outriders? And Outriders is interesting. Like, sometimes people say, like, oh, Outriders. Like, because I remember I liked Outriders. And I was just honest. I made some videos for Outriders, and I was just honest and said, like, yeah, this game has some issues. The crashing and stuff was super annoying. Actually, never really crashed so much for me. It just, like, it was hard to squad up with people. There's some connection issues. But it's like, I had fun in that game. I liked build crafting. There was some really fun builds you could put together.
Yeah.
And I just stopped playing it, I think, because it was right when, like, I played it up to in the new Destiny season started. Yeah. And then that took over. And I actually plan on going back to it and probably doing like a videos like, you know, Outriders 6 months later or whatever, how long it's been, like before the next Destiny. So I'm gonna go back to the game. I've been hearing nothing but good things. Like they've made legendaries drop a lot easier. They've done some good, some great patches. So it's one of those
making
things
more builds viable in the end game experiences. Yeah.
So
Expeditions.
I said from the start, it's like, look, this is not a live service game. This is just like a fun little game. You play it, you beat the campaign. You know, you get to max level with a couple different characters. That experience is going to be different. Like the 4 different characters are like, if you play them all for their ammo abilities, they're somewhat similar, but other than that, like they're pretty different. And it's just like a fun little game. And it's like, I kind of ran out of stuff to do, but I ran out of stuff to do. And I already played it for over 100 hours, and I'm like, cool, like we're chill. Yeah. I don't understand the people who are like, oh, it's a dead game, like it's a waste of money. It's like, dude,
it didn't take over my life, so it must be bad.
It's like, I don't want this game. I don't like. I sometimes I feel like Destiny and these other games, like I'm almost playing as a chore because it's like so much grind to do, and that's fine. Sometimes it certainly takes up a lot of time, but it's like, with Outriders, you go and you play it. It's a fun little package, and then it just kind of ends. But it's like, it ends and you're not like dissatisfied. You're just kind of like, one day you're like, all right, I'm done.
It's kind of like a latte. You know, you go to a coffee shop, you're like, I'm in the mood for a latte. You see the price tag on it, you say that's reasonable. You pay for it, you drink it, and you liked it. You got to the bottom of the cup and you threw the cup away, but you have no regrets moving forward. And Outriders is like that for me. I saw the price tag on it, and I said, I'm in the mood for that kind of a game. I bought it. I played it for a lot of hours. I got 2 characters all the way through to the end game. Expeditions running tier 15s. I got so much time and mileage out of that game, and then I put it down. And that's okay. Yeah. That's okay. Like, I loved every minute of it.
I bought, I got the premier access to Black Widow and watch it with my wife. So it's like, okay, $30 for what, 2 hours? That's $15 an hour. Right? Whereas this game, if you easily played for 60 hours, so that's $1 an hour of entertainment. It's like, not every game needs to last. You need to be playing it for 2 years straight. It's like,
that's right.
It's like, it's okay to go play a game, get to the end game, make an end game build, be like, I did it. I'm kind of done for now. And then you can come back when they add more stuff or they do an update. Like me, I plan to. I'm totally gonna go back. So it's like, I think Outriders was really upfront about being like, listen, we're not a live service game. We're just kind of, when you beat it, you're kind of done. And to me, that was totally fine.
Yeah, so Hang in chat says, yeah, but you still can't hold Outriders on the level of what Destiny's done. Well, I mean, yes, but at the same time, Destiny has said, here's a new price tag, here's a new price tag, here's a new price tag, here's a new price tag. New content, new content, new content, new content. It's a live service game. So they're constantly putting more content in front of you with a new price tag. Now, Outriders is not the same kind of product. It's as different as going to the store and buying peanut butter or a bag of chips. They're different. They serve different purposes. And so you can't hold those two things on the same pedestal and say one is definitely worse than the other. I mean, at the end of the day, like, I have spent probably around, I don't know, $500 on Destiny content to date. I've only spent $60 on Outriders.
Yeah, it's also weird because it's like, dude, it came out when Destiny was dead. In the middle of the season, near the end of the season, nothing was going on. And so it's weird where it's like, yeah, I didn't pay $60. Instead, I kept playing Destiny and didn't have fun for like hundreds of more hours. And I played Trials and hated it. And it's like, and you spent $60 and had a decent amount of fun with this game, and then you stopped playing. It's like, yeah, bro, I'm gonna choose my route every time. Yeah. Nothing was going on in Destiny. This was a fun little game. I liked the build. I liked the looting. It really botched the launch with like the technical issues, but it fixed that, and now it's like off and rolling. Like I absolutely have no regrets, and I would still, especially if you find Outriders on a sale, like if it's like part of a 40% off, 30% off Steam sale or whatever, get it. If it's 50% off, 40% off, get it. Get that game. You're gonna have a good bit of fun, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I think of like the game Control. I have not touched that game since I finished it, but I spent full price for that game. In my mind, I hold it to a very high standard, and I say that it's one of the best single-player experiences I've ever spent money on. Do I play it every day like I do Destiny? Abso-freaking-lutely not. But
Yeah.
I freaking loved it. It was awesome. No regrets.
Like I said, though, I'm yawning even thinking about Destiny. It's like sometimes when this game's dead, again, it feels like a chore to play. So it's like, hell yeah, I'll pay money. I'll pay $60 to have like a fun, new, fresh game that's going to entertain me for a few days, and then I'm done. Like, I don't care.
Yeah, and I think the Bungie devs are fine with that.
Yeah, like it's like you're gonna be. It's nothing wrong with it, and I don't understand why people are like, yes, people making the point too. It's like it's on Game Pass. It's literally free on Game Pass. Like, there's no reason not to hype it up.
Yep. But you're yawning, I'm yawning. I think everyone in chat is yawning because it's getting a little late for these gamers, isn't it? Just kidding. We're real gamers in here. We don't get tired. We don't get tired. Thank you so much for watching and listening in to this episode. We do this every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure to follow us here on the YouTube channel or check us out on Spotify or Apple Music or wherever else you listen to your podcasts. I'm Mtashed.
I'm KackisHD.
True Vanguard.